Alrighty. This might be my first true unboxing kayak video I've ever done. And I have before me a Aquaglide Blackfoot 130 kayak. This is an inflatable kayak, which is why obviously it fits in a box. And so today I'm just gonna put this thing together and see what it looks like, sort of give my first impressions. I've been looking for a kayak that I need for several specific projects I have coming up in mind. And one is that this year I really wanted to do some work fishing out of lightweight kayaks, but also I'm going to do a fair bit of traveling this year. So I'm looking for a kayak that's capable of holding 2 people or 1 person, so it can be fished both ways, that will also be able to check onto an airplane without paying oversized baggage fees. So let's see if this one meets the requirements, and let's get it popped open. Okay. Well, it's a box within a box, so that's good. It's very bright out here today, but I'm not going to complain. Love some spring weather. There we go. Okay, so there's the bag it comes in. It's quite the setup. So this is a backpack style bag, and it has the shoulder straps here on the back. I'm not sure I'd want to carry this thing too far. But let's see if I can get up with it. Oof. That's not terrible. Not light, but I could walk that into a lake or pond. Just wouldn't want to carry it miles or anything. But a key component for me is, can I get it on an airplane without paying oversized fees? It can't exceed 62 linear inches length, width, height. So we're at about 35 there on length. 35 plus, well, it depends on how you squeeze it, but say 35 plus 12 is 47. 47 plus 21 is 68. So that is not going to get on an airplane. So that would cost me a pretty penny to check onto an airplane, because you can't go over 62 linear inches on most airlines. Yeah, I've double checked it. It will not be able to be checked onto an airplane without excessive size fees, which is a drag. Alright, well, that's how it goes though. However, there are several lakes this summer I want to get into that have no roads into them, and they're hike in only, typically under a mile, but it'd be nice to be able to get in there with full-size kayak and do some fishing. Plus, looking for a 2-person kayak or raft that's going to allow me to go down some of the coastal and Cascade tributaries in search of salmon and steelhead over the next few years. And this looks like a really good option. So let's go and pop it open and get to work on putting this thing together. So it's got some really nice secure straps all around the outside here. Kind of helps keep everything tensioned. Let's see, there's the zippers. Big hefty looking zippers. Okay, and it includes a framed chair which fits inside there, which is pretty nice. It's unlike anything I've seen on other competing kayaks, is this framed chair, and it comes with a cooler with rod holders. So let's go ahead and pop that open. Alright, so there's the little soft pack cooler, which is pretty nice. And you get 4 vertical rod tubes in that. And it has Velcro, which I'll show you. This will attach down into the kayak itself. So I'm gonna go and pop off the shoulder straps. And these are just simple, inexpensive PVC rod tubes here. So here you can see this framed chair. It's actually quite nice. Feels a lot like any framed chair I would buy with a rotomolded kayak. And what's cool about it is it comes with a little riser kit. So you can run it low, or you can add a riser kit onto the bottom. There's lots of accessory attachments here that will go in the kayak as well. We'll get to those in a sec, as well as a little skeg fin, which will help improve your tracking in windy conditions. So we'll come back to this chair in a sec, but it feels really good. Nice. You pat it, and it's got a little basket here in the back that you can put fishing tackle or kit in. And this includes a repair kit for fixing your kayak, as well as some components here and the manual. Yeah, so you can see the repair material. It's the same PVC material. They provide these big patches here, essentially, that you can use to patch your kayak, and they have the two different colors of PVC that are probably incorporated into the kayak. All right, so let's go over some of the specs they lay out here in the manual. It is a 13 foot, so 156 inches in length. It is 38 inches wide, 13.5 inches in height. I think each tube is about 11 inches from what I recall on the website. It can take up to 2 people with a capacity of 650 pounds, so very impressive. The contents include the kayak itself, splash guard inserts, which I'm assuming is what this is right here. The one frame seat, so only comes with one seat. If you want to order a second seat, you'll have to do that through their website. A couple of Mole mesh bags, a fishing cooler, which I showed you, the Posi-Track fin, which I showed you, thumb and screw tabs, that's in thumb and screw tabs, repair kit, a valve wrench, and then the owner's manual all in here. So everything's in here. And of course, they also omitted the fact that you get this really cool carry bag with it too, for storage and for transport. It's nice to have everything all together. Okay, let's go ahead and set aside the chair, and we will get the kayak out itself. It's all wrapped up in a plastic bag here. They've protected all of the sort of hard plastic components. So it has 2 main tubes on the outside, and then one access point here in the middle for the drop stitch flooring. And if you've never seen drop stitch on an inflatable kayak, it gets very robust and firm, and you can stand on it, and it feels just like a solid floor. And then we'll get this inflated and then go over some of the other features next. Okay, so let's start with the 2 outside tubes. So these are supposed to be inflated to 3 psi. And this pump I got, this is an Aquaglide pump. It can do double action or single action. This pump's got a little PSI thing on the top, but I'm getting no registration on it whatsoever. All right, I'm gonna jump in here real quick. I contacted Aquaglide about the problem with the pump, and they said that it won't start to register until it hits 2 psi. In the video, I didn't get the tube to 2 psi, went back out, tried that again, and boom, it starts working at 2 psi and above, so you can get the correct measurement on the psi when using the manual pump. I don't want to go too far with that, since I'm just kind of guessing where I'm at, where it should be. Feels fairly well inflated. Okay, I just brought my car in here because I wanted to show that you can also use, Aquaglide has a 12 volt based pump system, which you can actually just program it in to inflate to a certain PSI. So we're gonna try this out and see how it works. So then you can just use this plus minus keys to manually set to the PSI that you need and then hit start. Cool, that's awesome. Definitely a big fan of that. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the floor at 6 PSI and just hit this. Okay, all done. Awesome. That's gonna make it so I can get ready in just a matter of minutes when I get to the lake. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and get it fitted with the chair, and we'll do a quick walkthrough of some of the features of this kayak. So the chair fits nice and snug in between the two tubes anyways, and I doubt it would even go anywhere if you flipped it up as it is. And they have these straps that come out the bottom, and they connect to these little loops here, and then you swing it back around, right? You're supposed to go through these straps and then swing it back around to this right here and lock it in. I don't know why they didn't just do a buckle system, like just a snap buckle. In fact, I'm probably going to figure out how to run a snap buckle incorporated in here so I can just click in and click out and just be done, rather than having to deal with looping this back through and then pulling all the way out every time. That's going to add a lot of time. And if I just had a snap, I could do that in a heartbeat. And also, before you inflate, make sure you pull these things out, because they all got trapped between here and this drop stitch flooring, which is rock hard. It's so impressive. It's just incredible. It just feels like solid material, like you're standing on a boat bottom. Really cool. And then they've got Velcro all down through here. The Velcro, here's more of these straps, right? These would come back and connect up to these loops here and here, and this one, so you can see how they get sucked underneath when I first inflated. When I deflate, I'm going to pull them all out and make sure I do that, because I didn't do that before. What's really cool about this one is because it's got this elevated drop stitch flooring above a PVC base, it actually has scupper holes, so you can open these up and let water drain back through. So if you get water in your kayak, it'll just seep down the sides or into these recessed areas and drain out these scupper holes. And it has 4. There's 2 up front and 2 in the back. That is a really cool feature of a inflatable kayak, to have scupper holes. It's also nice too, because it's just when you pack it up, at the end of the day, you can just drain all the water out, make sure it's nice and dry before you put it away so you don't get any mold. So down the bottom here, they got Velcro. That is so you can put things like the cooler in here and whatever other accessories you want. And that'll help lock them into place so that it won't slide around as bad. Feels pretty firm. It's a little bit light. I think I might still want to strap some of this stuff down a little bit. And then they've got these attachment points here, which allows you to put things like little accessory bags in here. I'll probably just leave those permanently on there. And when I inflate it, they'll just be ready there, good to go. But you can also clip in whatever you want to here if you want to clip in your pliers or whatnot. They have D-rings all up and down the sides here by the handles and up in front for clipping in. You could even use those to clip in custom seats if you wanted to do a different style seat rather than the frame seat that comes with it here. And of course, for me, one of the major features that I love about this is that it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then up on the bow, 9 of these bases that can take Scotties, ram mounts, whatever you want. And it just looks like it just uses a bolt to help lock them in there. So that's really cool to be able to accessorize the kayak with whatever fish finders and rod holders you want using their bases. Honestly, I feel like with as, you know, rigid as this section was, it might have been better to just do little chunks of gear track, and then you could have just used like ball mounts and things like that, and that might have been a little bit simpler. But I'll still utilize these for sure. Of course, here's what a two-person configuration might look like. They have enough space here to put their feet up underneath, so you could run a kid or a shorter person up front. Like Cedric could fit in there no problem. Sorry about my angry chickens back there, they just laid an egg. And then you just push this other seat back. What's cool is they come with these little foot braces, so if you need a little bit more bracing when you're paddling, you can put this here and you can put your feet against that to brace and make it a little bit easier to paddle. So to put the risers on, it looks pretty simple. Just gonna go ahead and snap those in. Always good if you get them oriented in the right way the first time. There we go. Okay. And basically this is going to raise that seat up, you know, another 6 inches or so. Be great for a little bit better positioning. And because this boat has so much stability, there's really no concern about it making the boat more unstable or anything. It's just going to give you a little bit better positioning and probably more comfort in terms of your seat and your knees. And then they have a little mesh case here that's kind of nice, because then you can put this on here, and if you don't overdo it like I did, that'll give you a little bit of space to throw some storage underneath the seat, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So now you got a little storage underneath there, and that's going to give you a little bit higher seating position. You can see the difference between the two. So that's the low seating position, that's the high. You know, low might be better for kids and stuff so that they're not gonna just fall right out of the kayak, whereas the high position looks really nice and comfortable. Let's go ahead and get in there and see what it's like. Oh yeah, that's great. I should still be able to paddle pretty effectively. It'll make it a lot easier to reach over the sides. Okay, then finally in the back they've got on the underside, you can see the scupper holes. It's really cool. You have this little fin you can tie into the kayak, which just runs on a little track, and you just slide that thing up inside here. So there you go. Now you got a little bit of fin to help you track just a little bit better. And to take that off, you just thread this all the way out again and do the reverse. And of course, another benefit is the chair in the high position makes a great camping chair too. Check that out. I like that at the end of the day and a campfire. Overall, I'm going to give this a grade of a B, maybe B+. There's a couple things I would change differently if I was going to change the design. One is, rather than going with traditional bases, I would have gone with smaller sections of gear track. I think that would have been far more useful, just because I'm already adapted everything over to gear track. If I put bases on here, I either got to leave them on here or take them on and off each time. We'll see how well it folds up with those bases in place. It's going to add more bulk to it. I think for me, one of the most disappointing things is that I'll not be able to take it onto an airplane. Now they charge you an absorbent amount for oversize, and tacking on an extra $200 to $300 per trip just to take my kayak with me makes it more likely that I'll just either take another kayak or rent something when I'm there. And I do have some really awesome trips planned this fall and beyond to go after some of those bucket list fish. The other thing I didn't really like was the strap system to attach the kayak to the chair. I wish they would have just done buckles, and then you can just buckle and then tension down at each individual point. That would have been a lot better. I don't know why they didn't do that, but that's something I can easily fix myself. What I do love about it is it's very spacious. The range of customization options, because of all the attachment points, is really unprecedented for an inflatable kayak. They've really paid attention to with giving you different options in terms of chair height and positioning, and because it has such a generous capacity, there's not going to be any issue taking 2 people in here, especially me and Sidra. So I really appreciate it for that. And the stitch flooring is awesome with scuppers. I haven't taken it out in the water yet because this is my first time using it, but I wanted to sort of give my first impressions. But I can tell I'm going to be able to stand and sight fish from this thing no problem. So anyways, I'll take this thing out on the water a few times and come back to you with some more initial impressions on my thoughts on the Aquaglide Blackfoot 130. And I'll see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.